Okay, everybody. So, there has been some developments in the story of the attempted assassination on Trump that was thwarted yesterday at Mar-a-Lago. Now, when I covered this, it was still breaking news, and we didn't know a lot. We only knew the basics of the situation, where the shooter was, what they had, and that they had been caught. Now we have some actual information. We have more than a supposedly leaked name, which is all we had yesterday to go by when it comes to the shooter, and or would-be shooter, I should say. And we actually have some information. We can finally learn what this guy's deal was. I have not looked super deep into it myself yet, but I have heard some things from people in chat, and it seems like this guy was politically incoherent, but generally leaned right. But I'm interested to find out more. Let's see the let's see this clip. Apparently, Anderson Cooper is gonna give us the lore dump here.
I want to go to reporting from our Josh Campbell, who has been talking to his sources at the FBI and is learning that as we speak, Anderson, the investigation is now going global. What authorities are trying to do is try to understand a little bit more about this man who ended up on that near that golf course, 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Routh. According to Josh's sources, authorities are working to obtain search warrants on various social media accounts believed to be associated with him. Some of these images that you're looking at to your screen here, these are images that our investigative unit has been able.
Oh shit. Yeah, so they totally okay, so yesterday, or I should say last night, when I was covering this story as it was developing, there was a supposed leak of the identity of the shooter, and the image of the guy who was supposedly the shooter was of like an old guy with like a goatee, like an old guy with gray hair and a goatee. And I was like, this is a supposed leak, but don't take this too seriously because this could be not real. Turns out it wasn't that guy. That Twitter poster who made that post that people were posting in chat, I think that Twitter post was wrong. I don't think this is him. Unless this is a like older photo of him. It does look older. But this doesn't look like how he did in the photo. Though then again, he was in, like, alt-right gear in his profile picture on Twitter, the account that was supposedly him that leaked last night. I don't know if it's the same guy. I don't know if it's the same guy as the supposed last night leak. We'll find out.
Some of these images that you're looking at to your screen here, these are images that our investigative unit has been able to cull from his various social media accounts that are available online.
It is the same guy, Ryan Wesley Routh. Okay, I remember his name. It is the exact same guy. Okay. Yeah, and here he looks a lot like the picture. Okay, so they did correctly leak who it was last night. All right, nice. I didn't accidentally spread leftist misinformation. Let's fucking go, guys.
The
Winning.
suspected online activity is also involving some of these platforms that are located outside of the United States. And what the FBI is also aware of are some of his online claims about foreign travel. And I want to zero in on something here, Anderson. The pictures that you're seeing come from a GoFundMe account. And on that account, Routh claims that he went to Kyiv in 2022. He was raising money to try to support his travel that appears to be completely done on his own. On that GoFundMe website site, he is encouraging others to join him. It is unofficial. He claims that he is staying with people aligned with the military, that he's donating military devices to some of the fighters in Ukraine. And our team is also gathering a little more of a background.
Man, this guy had some based politics and probably some cringe politics, too. I obviously don't want to say this guy had based politics and then we find out. And he also went on to say that the Jews, it just goes on to some unhinged, like, anti-Semitic rant.
About where he comes from in the United States. We believe, according to public records searches, that he was splitting time between Hawaii and...
To be very clear, by the way, the types of people who are likely to become so radicalized that they're going to like risk their life to potentially try and take out like a presidential nominee or the president is probably so mentally unwell that their politics are incoherent. You know, if I recall correctly, wasn't what's his name? God, how am I like brain farting on the guy's name. Lee Harvey Oswald. Wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald's politics just absolutely incoherent? Like, in his mind, his actions made sense to him, but if you look at, like, his actual beliefs, that, like, they don't really make sense being held by the same person. Like, the guy was just kind of wacky. That's probably the case here. I would not be surprised if this guy was just so out of it mentally that he isn't even able to hold a coherent political ideology. Oh, I am Andrew Jackson, and by the way, I think it's happening, like, next episode. I'm pretty sure, like, either season finale or next episode. We're getting the Celebrim banner. For sure. It's about to happen.
North Carolina, that in Hawaii, he was a self-employed affordable housing builder. He started in 2018 a company called Camp Box Honolulu, building some of those storage units and tiny houses, and that he had donated a structure to some homeless people. In North Carolina, though, we are getting through some of the federal campaign finance records, a donation of $100, more than $100 to Act Blue, which processes donations to Democratic campaigns. He had registered as an unaffiliated voter.
Oh shit! Is he okay? So he's unaffiliated, but he donated to Dems. Uh-oh, guys. Uh-oh. Is there going to be civil war now? Are the Republicans finally going to have enough, and they're going to go and attack progressives for daring to once again try and take the life of their beloved Donald Trump? Is this it? Is this going to be the day of the rope, guys? Has it finally come? Are they finally going to resist? Are they finally going to do more than post dumb shit on Twitter? No, obviously not.
That is without...
On top of that, I don't think this is actually going to affect Trump's polling either, especially when you consider how the last assassination attempt went for his polling. Didn't really affect anything.
A party affiliation in 2012, but he had voted in the March 2024 Democratic primary. And it also shows, according to North Carolina public records, that he had a number of brushes with the law. In 2002, he had a weapon. He had been pulled over by police, and that he barricaded himself in a building. That is something that police did recently confirm after his arrest on Sunday, and that he had a number of according to public records, Anderson, that he had issues with the courts and failing to pay tax.
How did he own guns? Like, what? How did he own guns with such a spotty record? Jesus.
This is Anderson.
Going off.
I guess
Thanks
Florida.
Very much more now on the breaking news. Tomorrow, the acting Secret Service director heads to Florida. Ronald Rowe got to the top job after the director resigned in July in a hail of criticism, you may remember, after the first assassination attempt on Trump in Pennsylvania.
How would he get them back to America, Scapegoat?
Daniel Bruner and Jonathan Wackrow. Daniel, it's interesting to see those pictures of this guy. I guess those were taken early on in Ukraine. As somebody who was in Ukraine for a couple of weeks at the start of the war in Lviv, you would see a whole bunch of folks coming there from the U.S. Some of them, had legit military training in the U.S. and were there believing in the cause. And
what's really interesting is that conservatives will use this as an excuse to say, oh, look, see, people on the left who support Ukraine are evil or whatever. All the while, how many times have American war veterans committed awful crimes? I mean, prisons are full of guys who are ex-military. So, there's that at least. The idea that a single person who has fought for a cause doing a thing that is seen as bad, then, like, somehow harming that cause in your perception is ridiculous. We don't apply this standard to plenty of things, including, like, the idea of the U.S. military. Anyway, wait, no way. Someone in chat over on YouTube is trying to claim Bad Empanada has been arrested. We have to look into that because it would be very funny if he was, but I don't know if I believe it. That's too funny to be true.
Wanting to help and volunteer where they could or train others. And then you'd also see just some folks who kind of washed ashore there with, running from something or just seeing this as some kind of opportunity to jumpstart their life. And so I'm curious to learn more about what this person was actually doing. You know, was he one of those people who just kind of got attracted to that and went? Did he actually have, was he actually, you know, contributing in some way? There's certainly still a lot.
Something that's worth bringing up as well is that this Ryan Wesley Ruth guy, it was leaked that this was the dude last night, and the post that had leaked that this was the guy that came out last night also included a bunch of posts that were like him posting anti-vax stuff. He was an anti-vaxxer, I'm pretty sure. And another one was like very explicitly conservative. I don't remember what he had said, but it was another like conservative value. So it's very clear he's not a Democrat or a progressive. There's a reason why he's unaffiliated and he's not registered to vote Dem or Republican. Like I said before, politically incoherent.
Know about this person?
There's a lot that's going to be looked at. The digital evidence that this individual left behind is clearly tremendous. We're going to be looking at all the CCTV, all his social media, and they're going to be looking back a number of years because obviously he's had an extensive social media presence going back to before the war in Ukraine. So they're going to be looking all the way back before that. They're going to look at what his motivations were for going to Ukraine, and then was he affected in Ukraine? Did that motivation come to the United States? And then as a processing during the course of the investigation, that'll all be analyzed, that'll all be looked at, and to look for other mitigating factors that could have sent this individual down that road to, you know, to prepare for this attack, and understanding what the motivation was going on as far back as pre-war Ukraine.
And Julia, the fact that he had, allegedly had a GoPro that he was going to be using to document
he was going full.
If
he was going full GoPro Ukraine combat footage with it. If you're on Reddit, you know what I'm talking about. There are tons of soldiers in Ukraine and volunteer soldiers as well that record literal like battle as they are in battle on a GoPro and upload that shit on YouTube. One of the best channels for it, very entertaining stuff, is CivDiv, CIVDIV, with a space in between those two words. Pretty good channel. The guy himself was volunteer fighter in Ukraine. A lot of his friends are still fighting in Ukraine, and so they send him their combat footage for him to upload. And so a lot of it is him, a lot of it is other people. One of the videos, I think I've shown it on stream before, is a group of volunteer fighters and Ukrainian soldiers fragging an entire Russian Spetsnaz squad with a grenade through a window. And like after he throws the grenade in, you hear it pop and the Russians inside going, "Ah!" You just hear the Ukrainian soldier pick up his AR and pull back the bolt and let it go, or the charging handle, let it go, and he says something along the lines of those fucking retards. It was so goddamn funny. They actually have a sense of humor in those videos. It's surprising, but I guess you have to in a situation like that.
He was pulling the trigger, or showing downrange what happened when he pulled the trigger. I mean, that indicates certainly a desire to broadcast, whether in real time.
Dude, in the original photo they showed of this guy's like little sniper nest, it was incomprehensible. Now I can see the actual like the gun. Okay, yeah, that's definitely, I can see why it looks the way it does, because it's like angled in a weird way, the way it's like leaned up against the fence and laying on the stock. Oh my god, I have to burp so bad.
Desire to broadcast, whether in real time or later, what was going to be done.
Right, that's exactly right. And we've seen it in mass shooting cases. We've seen them in terrorism cases. The performative nature of the violence, and so it's not enough just to kill or assassinate a former president. It is you.
And it would have been really like cringe for him to like have succeeded as well. Because think about it. Like, imagine if the shooter succeeded in taking down Trump at that rally. Trump would have died in front of an adoring crowd of fans, which is like his favorite thing. In this case, he would have died playing golf, another one of his favorite things. That just feels like too unpoetic of an ending for Trump, you know? Like, he'd be doing something he loves. It wouldn't really be karmic, you know? I want to see him lose the election and cry and bitch and moan about it. I want to see him get charged more for more of his crimes and end up serving time, you know? And I want to see him, like, just wither away of old age, irrelevant and sad and defeated politically, made a pariah and a laughingstock.
You've got to document it, and we don't know if he wanted to live stream it. We don't know what he was intending to do with it, but we can, I think, rationally deduce that part of it was the amplification of the violence itself. He lived very online. He was very vocal. We see all of these pictures, and so that is something that suggests to me that this was well planned out over time, and we just don't know what sort of triggered it in the last couple of weeks or months.
And Jonathan, if this was a last minute, schedule, put it on the schedule, go play golf, that also raises questions about, how he knew about it.
No, it actually does raise questions again. But when we start looking at this individual, it is not normal for someone to wake up and decide I'm going to go shoot the former president, right? The investigators right now are looking at the pathway to violence, his grievances, his violent ideations, his pre-attack planning. All of this will come out through the investigation, to include how did he know that the president was going to be there on that day?
Well, I want to go to reporting from our Josh.
This is it looped itself. Anyway, yeah, interesting. Did the guy die? No, he was actually arrested. He's not dead. I believe he's still entirely alive. Okay, interesting. Do we have any more updates? Has Trump spoken since this? You'd think he would have immediately, as soon as he possibly can, right? Briefing on Trump assassination attempt.
That is what's at stake this November. Not just one.
Yeah, this is Georgia Republican Governor Kemp speaking at a conservative Faith and Freedom Coalition event, no doubt using this whole situation as an attempt to rile up evangelical followers of Trump into, more fervent support.
One policy, not just one law. Kamala Harris wants to take our country farther away from its founding principles. More government, higher taxes, runaway spending, a weak America abroad, and American...
A weak America abroad. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. When in reality, Donald Trump's economic plan will result in 20% increases, it's thought by most economists, in prices for tons of products Americans consume. It would cause significant inflation on certain products, and it would just suck. Donald Trump, that was literally just all projection, funnily enough. Anyway, what else do we know about this shooter? What else do we know? Has anything further been released? Suspected gunman said he was willing to fight and die in Ukraine. Well, I mean, yeah, he went and volunteered there. Ryan Wesley Ruth, 58, told the New York Times in 2023 that he had traveled to Ukraine and wanted to recruit Afghan soldiers to fight there. What? I mean, maybe. I guess that would kind of make sense. Russia and Afghanistan have a history that goes back a bit of a ways. I suppose there could be some justification there, some motivation, but I think Afghanistan has some other stuff going on right now. I think Afghan people have some things on their plate right now that are a little more important. Yeah, bro, I think was trying to be like Paul Atreides. What the hell? Good one, Wingo. You are not him, bro. Okay. We got live updates here. Okay, what we know so far. The FBI is investigating an apparent second attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump at his golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida yesterday. The suspect was taken into custody and identified as Ryan Wesley Ruth, who is 58 years old. He hid in the bushes and pointed a semi-automatic rifle with a scope at Trump, who was about 400 yards away, the officials said. That is a long shot, by the way. Even with a scope, that is a long shot. People were in my chat yesterday were like, oh, 400 yards, but he has a scope. But it's like, he's using a rifle that is not made for long range at 400 yards, dude. He wasn't going to hit the shot. I'm going to be real with you guys. Even if he got the chance to fire, he wasn't going to hit shit. I get Trump's got a fat ass, so maybe like he's got like enough, he's a big enough target that maybe he would get got. But I don't think this dude would have hit. I don't think this dude would have hit. With an AK-style rifle, even with a scope, but at 400 yards. Not even with Trump's fat ass. Yeah, Trump's large hitbox wouldn't matter in this situation. Court records show more than 100 criminal counts have been filed against Ruth in North Carolina. He has previously spoken about his efforts to recruit people to fight in support of Ukraine against Russia. I wonder if the stuff coming out about Russia is what did it. Maybe he was like a hyper-patriot or something and was like, no. Trump is in the pocket of an enemy nation and just decided he had to take things into his own hands or something. Biden spoke to Trump and conveyed his relief that the former president is safe. Of course he did, because Biden is a professional. President Biden spoke with the former president today and conveyed his relief that Donald Trump is safe, a White House official said. Biden doesn't actually mean it, by the way. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but Biden, like, staff and whatnot have said that behind the scenes, Biden has, like, nicknames for Trump. One of them that leaked was that Biden calls Trump behind the scenes a sick fuck. 100 yards is a long shot for a civilian IMO, and he was using a 60-plus-year-old Bubba SKS. Yeah, he was not going to hit those shots, dude. 400 yards is a long way, dude. Like 500 yards is a big deal with a rifle made for long-range shooting. Good God. The clouds, the sun and the clouds just going in and out, changing up my camera settings, fucking them up. Anyway, yeah, sorry, I had to glow for you guys there for a second. I just had to display to you my true form. Are you guys ready to see my true form, actually? I'll show you guys my true form if you really want to see it. Listen, I get it. It's hard to behold. It's hard to behold, but this is my true form. I usually have to repress this. Otherwise, it'll, burn people's retinas out. You're seeing it through video, so it's actually a little more tolerable. But if you were in real life looking at me right now, you would literally die. Yeah. My eyes! And then I level the lighting to how it actually is. There we go. Yeah, you have to manually adjust cameras to make it look like how it actually does IRL, unfortunately. And when the light changes constantly because it's through the window, it's annoying. Anyway, suspect did not fire his weapon, and Trump was never even in his line of sight. Oh, he was still setting up. Okay, that makes sense. If he was 400 yards away, I would, like, that guy would have to be an idiot to try and take the shot from there. Apparently, he was trying to get into position, and they caught him before he did. The suspect arrested in connection with an apparent assassination attempt on Donald Trump did not fire at the Secret Service agent who spotted a rifle in the tree line at the former president's Florida Golf Club, officials said today. During a news conference, Ronald Rowe, the agency's acting director, said that Trump was moving through the Fifth Fairway around 1:30 p.m. when a Secret Service agent engaged the suspect, Ryan Ruth. Trump was not in his line of sight at the time, Rowe said. Trump was playing golf during an off-the-record movement that was not included on his public schedule, Rowe said. I really am interested to find out, like, how the student knew he was there. There's got to be a way that's, like, publicly available to have known he was there, right? Like some, like, Twitter account that tracks his private jet or something. But how would that tell you he was there at Mar-a-Lago, or at the golf course? Not even Mar-a-Lago. The Trump campaign asked the Secret Service for increased security this morning after yesterday's second assassination attempt on the former president. Two sources familiar with the request tell NBC News. A spokesman for the Secret Service did not immediately respond to an NBC News request for comment. It is not clear how the Secret Service has responded to that request. Two other sources familiar with the Secret Service's security response said the agency has dramatically increased Trump's security since July 13th. One said the Secret Service is doing all it can to protect Trump while also preparing for the United Nations General Assembly next week and protecting President Joe Biden and other candidates in the 2024 presidential race. God, this must be such a stressful and, like, hectic time for the Secret Service, dude. We've got Kamala Harris, so they must be like constantly ready to like jump in front of a bullet for, because, you know, she's currently campaigning. They've got to protect Tim Walz, because he could potentially be a target of some crazy. They've got to protect Kamala Harris, or not Kamala, they got to protect Joe Biden as well. And then on top of that, they got to protect Trump and J.D. Vance, possibly the most, now that they've got 2 attempted assassinations against them. Jesus. I am not envious of the Secret Service right now. They're about to have a busy next few months. That is for sure. Probably a busy next 6 months when you consider how people are going to be acting after the election, regardless of the outcome, you know? There's going to be craziness and unrest regardless of how this goes. It's going to be a little crazy for a while. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this segment and you feel you learned anything, or you were entertained, or just enjoyed it at all, please consider dropping a like. Every thumbs up you leave on my content, no matter when, where, or what you're watching, really helps the channel a lot. It basically boosts my content in the algorithm, pushing it out to more new people who can become subs. In fact, if you haven't already, consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video. And if you haven't yet, and you want to see more from me, consider following my social medias, linked down below in the description, and join my fan Discord. It's the main hub of my community and fan base. It's totally free to join. And on top of that, I host game events, call-in streams, and watch parties there. And I announce all my new uploads and streams, so if you're a member, you won't miss anything, even if YouTube bugs. On top of that, if you're feeling like it and you can afford it, consider helping me keep the roof above my head and the lights on and the water flowing through my pipes or whatever. I don't know how else to describe it. Consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, Patreon, or buying merch at the Streamlabs link down below. But regardless of how you support the channel, thank you so much for watching, even if you're just lurking and you don't say anything. I appreciate it, and as always, have a good one.